You're watching Saki Chronicles.
There he is.
Jesus, Donnie, that took forever. Was it that big of a shit? Really?
The biggest you've ever seen, probably in the entire world.
Well, this is already off the tracks, so can we get on to the next one, please?
And I'm guessing the next one is Resident Evil Zero?
It sure fucking is. This game has such a small cast, though, so let's just do the quick ones first and move on.
Are we really going to rank the shitty bosses?
God, I hope not. They are literally just bugs that make no sense why they're there.
You know, I thought about it, but nah, it's a waste of time, so let's rank Dr. Marcus.
Well, he can definitely sing. Probably can hit that high note and take on me. Honestly, he's too fucking weird.
I'm with you right there, Donnie. Like, why is he dressed like that? What's the significance of that medallion around his neck? Why does singing attract the leeches? Does he think he's in a Final Fantasy game?
Why does the older version look exactly like you, Joe?
Hey, fuck you.
I get your points. Dr. Marcus is only interesting when it came to his background with Umbrella and creating the progenitor strain. Everything else was just so random, especially when he ends up transforming into that Queen Leech.
So we should probably rank the Queen Leech separate from Marcus, since it seems they are both different beings.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, look at him while he's mutating. He obviously has no control over what's going on with him, and he looks shocked that it's even happening. Marcus is just a vessel for the Queen, and she finally takes full control over his body in the end.
Yeah, he explains that while talking to them.
It took the T-virus inside of my queen years to procreate my new life.
Okay then, so what about Marcus's rank?
Unfortunately, the background lore can't keep this trash out of D tier for me.
I agree.
Done, and the Queen bitch herself?
The boss fight is slightly interesting, but only because you can fight her while the AI partner goes to open the roof. But honestly, I would have liked a monster that fills the room with its flesh than what we ended up with. Very anticlimactic.
And sunlight was its main weakness? Lame as shit.
Billy, can't handle sunlight.
What was it going to do? Only kill things during the night? There was no way that would have worked.
That's some D tier shit right there.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get on with the Tyrant prototype. And to be honest, even though Rebecca handles herself well against it, to me it always felt just like T-78. Like they forgot to put in a Tyrant, so they had one literally pop out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, this one doesn't even come out of a tube or anything.
But at least it wasn't lumbering and slow like 78. This motherfucker pounces on you like a fucking lion.
That ass.
Which was bullshit, since the only times you fight it was in a small, cramped space.
I got a question. The second time you fight it, when it just comes out of the water, is it the same one or is that another discarded prototype?
Who fucking knows? Like Barry said, these things just feel like afterthoughts. And since we don't even get the courtesy of having them come out of a cryotube, I'm just going to rank them C tier.
I feel the same way. It would have been nice to have some sort of cinematic or something. Maybe show the leeches release it.
Right? We get to see these shitty little things take over a fucking train, but can't get anything for the classic Tyrants. C-tier all the way. Okay then, Billy Cohen.
Billy is a decent character. I mean, he ain't no Leon, but he still holds up his own. Plus, his love of music can't be understated.
He's solid, has an interesting backstory, and never betrays Chambers. I also remember a while back that some people were thinking he was Nemesis because of the way he says stars.
You're with stars.
Stupid theory.
I enjoyed his camaraderie with Rebecca, and his backstory really makes him sympathetic, yet still leaves it a little open-ended enough to make you think that maybe he's innocent, or maybe he isn't.
Doesn't matter anymore. That was then, this is now. Besides, you said you wouldn't judge me.
Like everyone else, I hope they find a way to bring him back. There really isn't anything bad about him except that he can't mix herbs for some fucking reason.
Oh my God, that was the worst decision. I think Billy Cohen is the only protagonist in Resident Evil who can't mix herbs.
Like I said, solid, high B.
Yep.
Okay, before we rank Rebecca and transition into the remake, any last thoughts?
Yeah, we never talked about the shitty inventory system last time.
Oh dear sweet Jesus, you're right. Along with having the worst herb mixing, they also found a way to cock up the inventory. No fucking crate. Are you for fucking real?
No shit. But not only that, two-handed weapons took 2 inventory slots. What the actual zombie fuck, Capcom? Garbage.
Definitely the worst inventory in the series, no cap.
Agreed. Well, that and 5.
All right, so let's get to it. The best girl, Rebecca Chambers.
Wow, I can already hear the simp crawling its way out of you, Bear.
Since she's in both games back-to-back, we'll just rank her all together right now. That way it'll save time.
Barry, come on. We already talked about this before. She's constantly needing to be saved, whether it be from leeches. Or falling.
Rebecca!
Or even that giant fucking centipede. She's got no prior experience, and it shows. Did you ever notice that whenever she aims, she's slower than Billy?
I could shoot, you know.
She doesn't come with a lockpick either, but instead that mixing kit. That meant that only she can mix herbs, which we just expressed was highly annoying and sucked ass.
She's incredibly lucky to have survived, but I feel that a lot of that is because of Billy. Face it, Barry, this little girl wouldn't have made it if he wasn't around.
Flawed reasoning, Donnie. That can be said about most everyone in this franchise. At one point or another, the protagonist is being saved by the supporting character.
And don't call me little girl.
So basically what you guys are bitching about is her gameplay, which has some valid points. Now let's talk about her character.
Here we go, strap in.
She's a prodigy, graduating university at age 18, so she's the youngest STARS member. When she finds the train, she doesn't hesitate to get onto it by herself. She had to kill her friend and comrade after seeing him turn into a zombie.
Edward! No.
She survives the train's derailment as well as the entire research facility. She's the first person to come across a tyrant as well as defeat it by herself. She also lied about Billy being dead, saving his life and his freedom.
Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now.
And the best fact is that she is the only STARS member to do all that and then do it again the very next day.
My God, man.
Yeah, you've made your massive point. We get it.
He definitely has a massive point for Rebecca.
Get fucked.
Fuck the both of you. While everyone on Alpha Team were asleep in their cozy beds, Rebecca was fighting for her life. And yes, she does lack the experience. Everyone else in the franchise has either been in the military or had proper training prior to the outbreak, except her, and she still kicked ass through all of it.
Okay, she's dope as fucking zero, but let's see how she's changed in the remake because it's almost like they completely nerfed her.
It certainly feels that way now that Mikami is back in the saddle with this one, but at least he fixed how she's introduced.
You.
Chris Redfield, Alpha Team.
She still has her gun and ditched the bug spray. Plus, she's able to heal all your wounds, not just some of them, like in the OG.
I could pretty much treat any wound. Want me to treat your wounds?
Fuck that. She still needs to be rescued from a hunter because her gun is gone once more, and there's even a new scene where she begins to cry on Chris's shoulder. You can just tell that Shinji Mikami hated this girl, and it almost feels like he was purposefully demeaning her.
Back up. The hunter scene is just a copy-paste from the OG, so don't blame Shinji about reusing it for the remake. What you can blame him for is making her more human in this one.
Well, that didn't take him long to get right back into it.
God damn it.
If you only save Rebecca, she will single-handedly take on numerous hunters.
But,
Leave them up to me.
all right, clean him up.
Well, if we're going to bring different clips in, then if you save Richard and fight Plant 42, then she's just walking away right outside the door.
Oh, you scared me.
Like, did she not hear Chris fighting for his life 3 feet away?
For 45 minutes, I was out there screaming. I know that because my damn watch is broken.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I could have been killed.
Good point.
Hardly. The door was locked from the other side, remember? And as for her crying, it's not a form of weakness. She's emotionally drained.
Then are you crying? It's just tension, asshole. It doesn't mean shit.
You already forgot that she's been through all this the night before and barely got any sleep in between. Plus, she's watched most of her comrades die horribly.
You're right, Bear. She's tough, we know.
She's the toughest. I'll rest my case with this last fact. Remember that she got shot by Wesker almost point blank and survived?
Rebecca! Don't move.
Oh, yeah, she does.
I completely forgot about that part.
Not hard to believe for you, Sleepy Joe.
That means that Rebecca Chambers is the only person to ever be shot by Wesker's samurai edge and lived.
R.I.P. Enrico, I guess.
She may not have done much in the remake, but combined with everything we've covered in Zero, she's easily S tier, you fucks.
Fine, geez. Check your pants before Michelle notices. Did you drag us in here just to try and convince us of how dope Rebecca is?
It definitely feels that way.
First off, she doesn't get enough love from Capcom. Secondly, no, I promise I really wanted to rank them all.
All right, fine then. And now that your massive point has exploded everywhere, can we continue this ranking, please?
Yeah, no shit. Does Michelle know?
Don't talk about marriage to me, you dried up orange peel. How's yours going after that whole Stormy Daniels debacle?
It's all fake news and lies. Our marriage is the strongest in the world.
We're getting off track. Let's move on.
Okay then, Resident Evil Remake. The biggest improvement with this is that the dialogues were fixed up. Who do you want to start with?
The remake basically made exact copies of Chris and Jill. It's obvious that the change in technology helped with line delivery and acting, but other than certain items and situations, they both are pretty much the same.
I see your point, but let's do some quick pros and cons with them, or I'll lay awake at night. Let's start with Chris.
Not much to say, really. He still has the same jokes.
I think we got to the root of that problem.
And doesn't know who Umbrella is, which is still goofy as shit.
Umbrella?
Don't you know? They're only the biggest taxpayers around here.
But he controls a bit better, and now he has defensive weapons too. In fact, his grenade is better than Jill's stun gun, simply because it destroys the head in one go.
You're not going to remark on the senile quote?
Wesker, you've become senile.
I don't remember him saying that.
Figures.
Go take your meds.
Fuck off, bitch. You ain't my nurse.
All right, guys, I'll put him in A rank. Jill will be basically the same, but at least this time she isn't sympathetic to the tyrant.
Actually, I would say she's improved much more. Since they expanded more on Barry being a traitor, they show how Jill is slowly becoming suspicious throughout the game. At one point, she even disarms Barry in one move, before going on to call Wesker pathetic.
Wesker, you're pathetic.
And you're gay! And even takes a right hook from the boss himself and still gets back up.
Bastard.
My only complaint is how it takes her stun gun 2 hits to kill an enemy. And since the grenade blows their heads off, I wanted the taser to at least set them on fire. Other than that, easy A tier.
Done. Speaking of Barry, I think he probably had the most rework of his lines. He's not as clumsy, and his subplot is more noticeable with the extra scenes they added, and yet still subtle than it was in the OG.
Plus, he actually changes his mind regardless of whether Umbrella was blackmailing him or not. He's a dope-ass friend.
You gotta love Barry.
His most iconic line was changed. How could they?
That was a close one. A second late, you would have fit nicely into a sandwich.
You're right.
Not to mention that they replaced his clumsiness with paranoia. Every time Jill approaches him, he's about to brown his pants.
Barry.
Jill, don't scare me. Ah!
You're gonna give shit to someone who's on edge inside a monster-infested house?
I live in one 24/7 and I'm not scared.
Heh, nice.
Well, you look like a zombie yourself wandering around trying to find Jill.
You spray tan, bitch.
You set him up, Joe. Kind of your fault.
If that's all you got, then he is still at least A tier.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, he's improved. Let's get to ranking Wesker already.
His motivations are the same as the OG, but thanks to the voice acting, he doesn't sound like old Joey here during one of his speeches. He's calm and collected, and by the end, you really get that mastermind feel from him.
You're a real heel today, you know that? Anyways, this dude got sinister real quick, but I like how if you let him get hit by Lisa, he just fucks off for a while, only to come back later.
Wesker.
So you've come.
Well, he couldn't just die. He had to be the plot twist at the end. Not his fault.
He had such a complete makeover that he's basically different now and for the better. But without his powers, he's really only B tier for me.
Same.
Agreed. Oh, did you guys notice how when he sees Lisa Trevor, he says,
You're a bit of a mess-up.
His initial reaction isn't repulsed, but disappointed because she's a failed experiment, foreshadowing the plot twist.
My favorite thing is when Chris gets back from the residence and he finds the note about the doorknob's been fixed. It means that Wesker is running around with a screwdriver, sitting there fixing a door.
Getting pissed because the screw isn't going in correctly. What a handyman.
That shit is pretty funny.
Okay, I want to talk about Richard Aiken. He also went through a huge change in the remake.
Fuck yes, he did. You can actually save him with the serum this time, and he'll either help you fight Yawn as Jill or, sadly, push you aside from Neptune. Either fucking way, he dies, but not like a punk.
Plus, you get his awesome shotty after that, too. B tier.
Can't argue with that. The man died a hero. Okay, let's start up with some bosses real quick.
Wait, what about Enrico?
Enrico doesn't do anything different, so his rank would be the same, only in HD. So let's go to the Crimson Head prototype in the cemetery.
C tier, easy. He's not that difficult to kill, just like every other Crimson Head.
Wait, that was just a prototype? For the longest time, I honestly thought that it was George Trevor.
No, you find out on a small note that they locked this Crimson Head up in the coffin after it turned and murdered some researchers.
Right, but I just initially thought that after George died, they took his body and did experiments on it while it zombified, and then it turned into the Crimson Head. I mean, it would make more sense that the creator of all these traps not only died inside one of the traps he made, but also became a trap himself, right?
It does make sense, but why would he go out like that?
Irony, especially because of everything he put his wife and kid through. He's basically the same as Steve's dad.
Father! You just can't let that shit go, can you?
No, because it pisses you off.
Okay then, C tier. You good with that, Joey?
Yeah, let's keep going.
No problem. Plant 42?
It's got more features to fight against in the remake with acid tentacles and pods, but you can still just move around a bit and hit it until it dies. No real strategy.
Plus, it's a fucking plant. Like, what the fuck is this shit? The Happening?
Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
D tier then?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Right. I'm not going to put Neptune or Black Tiger on here because one, you can skip the spider entirely, and the other, you don't have to fight the shark at all. Instead, you just do a puzzle with the draining system.
Emergency.
Puzzles can be hard for Joe, so he may rank the machine to S tier.
Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. The only thing that's puzzling is how you got into office in the first place.
I could say the same fucking thing, you fucking gray walker.
Pay attention, you assholes. Let's get to the last good ones. Let's start with Yawn.
Fucking awesome. Everyone remembers the big-ass snake. He can poison you and everything. Even fucks up Richard twice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a more engaging boss than the last two, but his second fight is a cakewalk by just chasing his tail, so I say he's a solid C tier.
I'm good with that.
Cool. Next would be Lisa Trevor. Good lord, this girl's story is sad as fuck.
Tortured and experimented on for over 30 years, she eventually becomes an immortal abomination that can't be killed. It creates tension whenever she shows up, however she can be easily dodged.
Are you reading that straight from the game manual or something?
No, just the opening paragraph on Nancy Pelosi's wiki page.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, as tragic a character that she is, you don't really need to fire a single shot at her. She's more of an obstacle than a boss.
Still, she has the ability to kill off Barry and you too if you're not careful in that altar room.
She does rip off her mother's face and wears it, which then begs the question of who put her mom in that coffin. Were there scientists who had an entire altar with chains and stones just made for her?
Listen, as compelling as that is, let's just rank her and move on.
I gotta agree with Joe on this. She's mostly a C tier because she's more of an obstacle.
Pretty much.
Okay, lastly is the big boy, Tyrant.
Another iconic boss. This motherfucker immediately stabs Wesker through the chest and just flops him aside like Donnie does to his old staff members.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to be used like a puppet like you.
Shut up, guys. Stay on track.
Right. He's able to break through a solid concrete floor, let alone take on 3 STARS members at once. In fact, it takes a rocket launcher to kill him. And even then, he's still fast enough to deflect the missile away. You know who else has that type of reaction speed? Motherfucking...
He's a very good end boss. Not too hard, not too easy. And if you have other teammates, you want to gain his aggro away from him, or he will kill them at the last moment. That's a pretty good B-tier boss.
No arguments.
KB tier it is, and we're done with the remake. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, ever notice how at the end of the game, it's as if Wesker himself is ranking you?
Chris, you did a fine job.
Which would make sense, since the entire game is based on him testing the stars against the BOWs.
I see what you mean. Almost as if he's standing on the hill outside the mansion, watching the helicopter fly off with a tiny smirk.
He does still consider Chris one of his own in Code Veronica, months after the mansion incident.
Chris, since you're one of my best men.
This theory holds water, I think.
So we starting up the GOAT?
Damn fucking straight. Resident Evil fucking 4.
About fucking time.
This is going to be long, isn't it?
Oh, right. You were the whole reason why this wasn't an S rank. I forgot.
Yeah, because it's a fucking mid-game, and I'll fight anyone who wants to go.
You shriveled up, Dick.
Guys, this isn't about the game, but the characters. Joe, you've already said your piece on this, so move on. Donnie, you and I know what he's like on this, but just ignore him so we can get this done.
Fine.
Whatever.
Let's get the best one out of the way first. Leon Kennedy.
My fucking boy. Motherfucking S tier. Why are we even talking about this?
He's peaking this, not gonna lie. Martial arts, CQC, and being an all-around ladies' man.
Give me your number when I get back.
A true action hero.
No fucking cap. Going from a rookie cop to a Secret Service agent assigned by the president himself. He's truly the best protagonist this series has had. The man can do fucking anything.
Jesus, you simps. Most of the time he's doing what QuickTime Event makes him do. All the dodging, fighting, and reactions are based on them. Not so much Leon as a character.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Joe. Explain yourself, or I'm going to call Jill to do a wellness check on you.
Fine. You remember the boulders that Leon has to run from?
Of course, he's out running fucking boulders downhill fucking twice and is still able to dodge them. That's some Indiana Jones shit right there.
See? You think it's lit because Leon does it, even though it's a fucking quick time event to make you think he's super badass. However, you've already forgotten that in the first Resident Evil, both Jill and Chris did the same thing twice as well. But there's no QTEs. Instead, the player has to quickly guide them away. Yet when they do it, no praise. It's not even a footnote.
Oh yeah, they did do that.
Exactly. The QTEs that Leon does are supposed to be super cool, yet when others do the same thing in previous entries, we never even notice.
Leon is a highly trained individual who is capable to do these stunts, whereas the others nearly look like they stumble around. The true difference between Leon and everyone else is the difference between skill and luck. Leon has the skill to constantly kick ass. Ada herself even says it in the game.
He has what it takes to survive against overwhelming odds. I've seen him do it before, and he's improved since then.
Beautifully said.
Apparently he doesn't have enough skill to move and shoot. And where are the QTEs that can save him from being chopped by a simple ganado?
Jesus, he's just nitpicking now, the little shit.
He's A-level at best.
What?
No fucking way. I will concede that the quick-time events do clutter up his gameplay, but I will not consent to him being that low. His new movements are much better than the tank controls we've had to endure, and he's survived the Raccoon City incident. He's witty and has great one-liners. He's a fucking boss, end of story.
Story of my life.
Plus, you idiot, you've already used your whining card the last time we were here and knocked the entire game down to A. He's S tier, and that's it. Fucking deal with it.
Fine.
Okay, moving on. Jesus, this one. Ashley Graham.
Fuck!
Get away!
Jesus, this girl was annoying.
No joke, constantly screaming. Running away to get captured again.
You alright?
I'm fine! Leave me alone!
Ashley, wait!
She has a separate health bar that you have to maintain along with your own.
She wouldn't let you look up her skirt.
Oh, you pervert!
Wait, what?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Forget I said that.
Nope, not gonna.
Creepy Joe, back at it again, ladies and gentlemen.
What I meant to say was that she couldn't get hurt or you'd fail the game.
Of course.
Sure you did.
Like I said before, she's just a glorified escort quest. She doesn't do anything but get captured, and that's about it.
You get to play as her, which was pretty tense, probably the most in the game since she can die in basically one hit. Plus, she gets to kill some enemies by yeeting some lanterns at them.
But you have to complete the worst puzzle in the entire series. The sliding puzzle. With all the other puzzles in the franchise, as long as you know what the answer is, then you're good to go. But this one wrong slide and everything's fucked, and you can't reset it. I would put her in D tier if I could on that alone.
That's not even her fault.
Sounds like you just need to get good at puzzles, old codger.
Whatever, C tier.
Oh yeah, definitely C tier.
Same.
All right, next is Ada Wong.
Long time no see.
Dope as fuck. Girl goes full on secret operative in this one, and she doesn't give a fuck. She's the very definition of calm, cool, and collected.
Even I have to admit that she's much better in this than back in RE2. Plus, this time she gets to save Leon a couple times.
Agreed. Honestly, there's really nothing bad about her in this one. And even Sally Cahill reprises her role from 1998. She's an all-around badass. She kills 2 Ganados with her fucking grapple gun, puts an actual end to Krauser.
That's a large thing you have there.
And is still able to complete her mission seemingly without breaking a sweat.
I would also like to add that when Leon attacks her...
Daddy, chill.
She fights him off expertly, but then exclaims that they need to get the parasite out of him.
We have to get that parasite out of your body.
She's completely understanding as to what's going on with him. She cares.
If they added that scene today, she'd say something like, "Do that again and I'll kill you."
Any arguments if I put her into S rank?
Fuck no, go for it.
I agree, she deserves it easy.
Done.
See you later.
Ada, wait!
Okay, let's move on to Luis.
Jesus, another side character who thinks he's so suave.
Little rough, don't you think?
Geez, you're gonna be like this the whole time, huh?
Him and Carlos are basically the exact same.
All the foxy ladies love my accent. It drives them crazy.
Okay, we skipped the foreplay. Where's the love, baby?
That's kind of racist, Joe. And that's me saying that.
There's nothing wrong with Luis. What the fuck, Joe?
He's trying to save Leon and Ashley from the parasites inside of them. But then he just drops the fucking medicine while he's running away.
Oh, shit. I must have dropped it when I was running away from them.
He had one fucking job and the normie bitch just fumbles it. What a failure.
That cutscene was mainly to show that he cares and that he wants to make things right.
It makes me feel better.
Then don't fucking drop the medicine, Luis.
He helps keep them alive in the house siege. Or did you forget that?
I'm with Donnie on this. There's no reason to think otherwise. You're just taking the Democrat mascot too literal and being a stubborn ass at this point.
Fine. You're right. He's not bad at all. It just irritates me whenever I see him dropping shit. First the medicine, then the sample. Motherfucker has butterfingers, I swear.
Are you being fucking serious?
No, we're moving on. He goes into B tier and that's that. Next is the final NPC before the bosses, the motherfucking merchant.
The fucking goat.
There's nothing bad about this guy. In fact, he's the sole reason why Leon survives.
Thank you.
He's an obvious high A tier. I'd give it to him higher, but he's not playable.
A wise choice, mate.
A fair point. A on the chart, S in my heart.
No cap.
Come back any time.
Nice and easy, just the way Donnie's wife is.
What the fuck did you just say?
You heard me. No fucking way you had to work hard for that.
You wouldn't know what working hard is, you fucking socialist.
Guys, off track. Let's keep going.
Right, next are some bosses. Del Lago.
A much slower turret boss, really. All you do is make sure you don't hit the floating debris and throw a harpoon at the big lizard. He's interesting towards the world building, but that's about it.
I gotta agree with Joe here. Other than him nearly taking Leon down into the lake with him when he dies, there's nothing really here, sea level at best.
Yeah.
All right then, El Gigante. These guys were actually pretty dope to fight and can be a handful if you misstep or don't have enough ammo.
Thank God the dog comes along to help out. He's a goat as well.
No, Donnie, that's a dog, not a goat.
Shut the fuck up and turn up your hearing aids. You can't be that stupid.
Smart enough to run your ass out of office.
Focus, guys. These bastards were tough, I agree, especially in the bowels of the castle. Giving one of them a lava bath is the best, though. Real talk, I must have wasted an hour trying to get them both to fall in at the same time. No joke.
You idiot bear. But I do wonder why one of them looks like Leon interrupts their BDSM session.
They are definitely iconic, and I would have liked to see one last one on the island, but overall I think they're also C tier. Even if they're huge, you can still kill them fairly easy.
I can live with that.
Okay, let's get down to the chief himself, Vitoris Mendez.
The big cheese.
This guy actually felt intimidating, no joke. He was fast. Bullets did jack shit to him, not to mention he could apparently hulk out on some iron bars with ease.
My only gripe is that he doesn't get on the radio to taunt Leon. It would have been pretty dope to hear him talk a little more, maybe try to convince Leon to join his people.
Yeah, I could see that happening. It would have definitely given him more lines because I think the only ones he speaks are in that house. His fight was a good two-phaser too.
Yeah, that's how you do a centipede boss, Capcom.
B tier seems right for him.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yep.
All right, Verdugo is up next.
This one was a bit freaky. He's fast and incredibly intelligent, able to sneak up on you and slice you up if you're not careful.
Intelligent enough to pick a fight inside the only place in the entire castle that houses its one weakness.
This fucking guy.
It's a tense fight for the first 30 seconds until you memorize the QTEs and have a magnum for when he freezes. C tier.
You can't be serious. B tier at the least.
I'm inclined to agree with Joe on the rank, Donnie.
This is bullshit. He's scary to fight and you have to be alert when he ambushes you.
He's basically like Lisa Trevor, only with QTEs. He's a literal obstacle in the way of the elevator, that's it.
Fuck you both, you limp dick motherfuckers.
Take the L, bitch, and keep stepping. Next up is
Ramon Salazar, the 8th Castellan of this magnificent architecture.
Oh, A tier, easy. Even I have to admit that.
Definitely, his banter with Leon is really the golden part of this game. Every cutscene is a work of art with this old-looking fucker.
But I'm only 20 years old.
Jesus, that's right. Go moisturize your face, you little bastard.
Absolutely. His wit is on par with Leon's beat for beat. It's great how he calls just to pester you sometimes.
This little guy is equivalent to a Bond villain. He has the 2 hulking bodyguards, the trapdoor, and even the giant statue that for some reason ends up chasing you.
All of that just shows how dedicated he is to fulfilling his master's wishes, even mutating with the Plaga himself, which makes it even sadder to know that Sadler is really just using him.
Not to be Joe here, but I have to say that his boss fight is kind of lackluster. Just stand in a corner, blast the tentacle, and fire on the face when it opens up. But honestly, not that bad of a fight. Still better than Alexia's.
He's an A tier, no question. Now let's move on to the fucking thing that Sadler sicks on Leon. You 3.
Jesus, this thing.
Not gonna lie. This thing not only felt like it came out of nowhere as a last-ditch effort to add another boss, but the environment is so random.
I see where you're going with this, Don. Like, what the fuck were those crates even doing hanging there? What purpose do they cause? The whole time you're in there, you have to use quick time events to dodge.
True, but at least when you get out, you can fight it properly.
That's the only saving grace, Bear. All in all, this boss was probably another C tier.
No, come on, it's better than Verdugo at least. You get a proper fight at the end, low B tier at the most.
Fine, this one ain't worth the effort to argue, B tier.
I hate his QTEs, but for sake of time, sure.
Cool, let's move on to Krauser.
Okay, this dude was at least entertaining to fight, but his intro was annoying as fuck. It was just a huge quick time event clusterfuck. As if the guy who created the QTE scenes was finally allowed off the leash for one scene. And this was it. Not to mention that one fuck up and he kills Leon and you have to start all over again.
Again, Sleepy Joe, that's just you having terrible reaction time.
I swear to God, if you bring up that staircase again.
Wasn't gonna, but I was gonna mention you face planting at the Air Force Academy.
Fuck you, you waddling shit. I got sandbagged.
Guys, please, back to Krauser. His back and forth with Leon about their past and asking deep questions was nice to see. Almost like there was a mutual respect between them.
I get that we're supposed to feel a little bad about Krauser turning on Leon, but since we've never seen him before this moment, I kind of don't give a shit about him.
He's a badass, knife-wielding ex-commando. How can you not like this guy?
He thought he was going to gain Sadler's trust that easily. It's already been established that Sadler hates Americans.
Did you really think I'd trust an American?
And then he wonders why he's not trusted.
It seems he sniffed out our little game.
He fucking name drops like a clown.
I don't trust you, nor does Wesker.
And he utters Umbrella for some fucking reason.
All for Umbrella's sake.
We almost had an entire Resident Evil game without Umbrella being mentioned.
Jesus, he already forgot the first 30 seconds of the game.
And then this asshole has to make it seem like they're coming back.
Somehow.
Umbrella.
Returned.
He fucking monologues.
Umbrella. Almost let it slip.
You got me monologuing!
He's basic as fuck, C tier along with the rest.
No fucking way, you biased bitch. He broke up the monotony of villagers and stupid-looking monsters. Plus, in the end, it's a broken man who loses his arm seeking revenge against his country.
I agree with Donnie. He's better than a bloated-up monster for Leon to kill. You actually have to move around and be alert. You can even kill him with a knife. He's fast and agile, and at least he has a little bit of backstory to go along with Leon, as well as the answer to how Ashley was kidnapped in the first place. So he goes into high B.
For real.
Horse shit.
Oh, little baby Joey is cranky if he didn't get his nappy, huh?
Fuck you, you greaseball. Every time you talk, I can hear the cuffs rattling around your wrists.
We're almost done, guys. On to Sadler.
Okay now, Sadler, I can still get behind. He has the same back and forth with Leon that Salazar did. Plus, he controls all the plagas with his mind. Pretty straightforward, but I can still enjoy it a bit.
Jesus, Joe, you rip on everything in this game, but you're okay with Sadler? Even I have to admit he feels generic. How do you not feel the same way?
I'm siding with Joe, Donnie. He laughs at Leon's jokes.
A senior moment, perhaps.
Oh,
Can attack with lightning speed. And has the ability to absorb bullets and eject them out.
His prized asset was Ashley, so instead of just having her on the island far away from Leon, he puts her right at the beginning.
They needed to get her ready for the ritual at the castle, you idiot.
We shall prepare for the ritual.
The ritual to let her be a part of their little club? Who gives a shit? There's a crazy American secret agent who can suplex the head off of people right at their front door. Half the time, the cult is wasting valuable resources just trying to get her back from Leon.
Shit, he's starting to make sense to me.
Fuck, Donnie, what are you doing? I thought you loved this game.
I do, but when it comes to Sadler, he just doesn't know how to lead. I would know how to lead these idiots. I would be the best at it.
Fuck, of course you would think this.
I'm just going to say it again. Why not just let Ashley go home?
Because they needed more time for the plaga to mature, you shriveled cock.
It's not like she lives next door. It'll take more than a day for her to get back home. Also, even if the Americans do an X-ray, I seriously doubt that they have any type of machine that is exactly like the one Luis has in his lab to eradicate it. They'd most likely end up killing her and Leon just by removing it. And by that time, she'd be under his control.
Holy fuck, you've thought way too hard on this, Cranky Joe. I'm not even going to answer that because there are too many variables to make it plausible, especially off-screen in a motherfucking video game.
What a bitch answer.
Look, I didn't mean to open this box on him, but one last gripe.
What, Donnie?
If he could just absorb bullets so easily, why not just stay in that form and kill Leon with his quick moves? Seems much easier than transforming into a monster with obvious weak spots to exploit.
I don't know, dude. Look, he's at least A tier. He banters with Leon, plus he not only controls everyone infected with the Plaga, but may also be able to control El Gigante and Verdugo. He was also able to manipulate both Salazar and Mendez, and I'm pretty sure Mendez wasn't easy to convince. So again, A tier.
Even though I still think my rant holds water, I'll concede to A tier solely based on his power alone.
Agreed.
Okay, moving on to Resident Evil 5.
Oh Jesus, here we fucking go.
The starting point of Resident Evil's downfall.
Not to be that guy, but for over a decade, Resident Evil 5 was the best-selling game in the entire franchise.
So, The Force Awakens is the highest-grossing Star Wars film ever, and it's still a mediocre piece of shit.
You take that back right now, Flop Top?
Never.
Guys, we're not talking about Star Wars right now, so focus the fuck up. Let's begin with Chris Redfield. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, to me, this motherfucker is peak in this one.
No shit. This Jim bro never skipped arm day in his life. And thank God for those arms, because this boy carries this game.
Thank you. I've been working out.
Look, I'll admit that it's kind of ridiculous how he went from this to that, but I believe there's a good reason for it.
And that would be?
Well, if he'd have those massive tanks he's carrying around, he'd have been able to save Steve back in Antarctica, and then the Redfield bloodline would have been saved.
God damn it, Donnie.
You idiot.
Okay, I'm done, I promise.
The obvious answer is he got his ass handed to him by Wesker last time, so he beefed up, readying himself for their next encounter.
A lot of good it does him, but we'll get there.
Anyways, he's a recurring character that gets to finally star in his own game. He's more professional and ready for anything this go-around. He's trying to find Jill, whom he thought was dead, which means that his loyalty is so high that he's willing to travel across the globe to find her.
I'm not here just for the mission.
What are you talking about?
A while back, I received some intel that my old partner was still alive.
He's an absolute alpha, this boy, both as male and as stars. The dude's a fucking unit. His punches feel so hard, he's even able to stagger that giant executioner easily.
He and Shivar both have the drop on Irving, and they just stand there instead of actually bringing him in. And then when the tear gas comes in, Chris immediately falls to the floor, right where the gas is flowing into his face. Not very professional, if you ask me.
We have no idea what the procedure is for bringing in high-profile targets at the BSAA.
Sure we do. Did you forget the beginning of Resident Evil 8?
No! What? And did you forget that that's not the BSAA?
And lastly, that mother fucking Boulder. The only reason I don't cry bullshit is that it actually works.
I'll give you the rock punching, but he's still a great partner. He saved Sheva a fuck ton of times, including not letting Wesker take her down with him. The man deserves the S-tier spot, and your nitpicks aren't going to stop it.
I agree.
Okay, yes, I'll concede to it. He does much more in this game than in previous ones.
Good. Now let's rank Sheva.
This one is interesting. Her personality is courageous and admirable, but since the game itself is built around co-op, it's kind of hard to imagine what she'd be like if she wasn't bogged down by 6 layers of plot armor.
You don't have to get touchy.
You're bringing up plot armor for protagonists?
Yeah, it's not like Resident Evil never had a second player running around with you before. We've covered quite a few, actually, and they were all dope on their merits alone, not because of plot armor.
Just hear me out. Remember that she was about to quit halfway through the mission?
Chris, look around. We should both get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and Chris set her straight.
A second ago, you were ready to cut and run.
Well, it's not like she would ever walk away. The other characters would run off or even get kidnapped or knocked away. And there are moments where they must fend for themselves. But since Sheva is a co-op NPC, she's always by your side. She'll never have to survive on her own. In a way, it hinders her character growth.
I see your point.
As do I. So let's get to ranking her.
She's a crack shot, able to hit a chain behind a speeding bike.
And she always has Chris's back, being completely on board for helping him find Jill. She was definitely key in her part for bringing Jill back from Wesker's control.
Again, I'd like to reiterate that she not only wanted to abort the mission, but also argues to HQ against continuing when they're the only ones left.
She redeems herself and more. I mean, she goes hand-to-hand against fucking Wesker, actually even stabbing him at one point.
She'd never have been able to if he wasn't already weakened. Remember, he was mopping the floor with the both of them before.
Point, but she's still a solid A.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish we'd have seen more of her instead of just this game.
Like if instead of Piers in RE6, Sheva was with him, tracking him down and being his second in command. It would have been a much bigger impact for what happens in that game if she was there.
Fuck, that would have been so much better.
Agreed. Anyways, who's next?
That would have to be, of course, Jill Valentine.
Dope!
I just want to say before we start that I absolutely love that she's blonde now, meaning that at some point Wesker bleached her hair for some reason.
If he's got time to fix doorknobs, he's got time to bleach some hair too.
He's really sticking to his master race thing, huh?
So unfortunately, Jill is really only a B tier in this one. She doesn't appear all that much. And if you do play her, it's in the DLCs. She's supposed to be the plot twist towards the end, but honestly, who didn't know that it was Jill once they saw the tombstone in Chris's memory?
True, the twist was very anticlimactic, but she still kicks a lot of ass in this.
Come on, it was completely goofy how she fights like a cat all of a sudden, jumping on walls and crouching on all fours. Plus, it can't be that device on her chest. So then that must mean Wesker was training her to fight like that too? He's a martial arts instructor as well?
A jack of all trades, the man can do it all. Anyways, I'll be honest, her change is so sudden it's a little off-putting. And when you finally defeat her, she's gone for the rest of the game. A little weird to have a legacy character be sidelined like that.
It's Metal Gear Solid 2, that's what it feels like.
Infinite ammo.
And why was she wearing the plague mask? It didn't do anything but hide her face, but why would they give a shit? I mean, Sheva was able to recognize her before Chris.
Wait, isn't that...
I have to agree, she even wears it while she's driving. Unfortunately, she's B tier at most.
All right, B tier it is. A last thought. When she explains that Wesker is going to release the virus into the atmosphere, she says that only millions will die. But what's more alarming is Chris's reaction to this. He is straight up okay with millions dying just so he can stay with Jill.
If Wesker succeeds, Uroboros will be spread across the globe. Millions will die.
Oh, yeah, but...
I'm all right.
Like, what the actual fuck, dude? Why does Jill have to convince you to stop Wesker at all at this point?
That's pretty damning. You were sitting on this while we were ranking him?
Pretty irresponsible, Bear.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think a lapse in his judgment should lower him. Anyways, let's just rank Spencer already now that he's finally made an appearance.
This dude is only in the cutscene and he dies, but just to see him finally was such a trip for me.
Agreed, Joey. He's the start of all of this. It seems terrible to put him in D tier, so maybe C because of how instrumental he was.
That seems fair. C tier seems like a good fit for him.
I was to become a god.
Let's get into the bosses. How about that fucking bat thing?
Fuck that thing. Its design is so stupid. Someone literally mashed a caterpillar with a bat and said, there, that's a boss. And its belly is the weakness. Fucking D tier for how stupid it is.
Jesus, Donnie, calm down.
No, fuck that. This boss only exists to introduce the landmines, a weapon you'll never use ever again in this game. This thing is one of many what-the-fuck bosses they kept rolling out. It's almost as if they didn't try to explain them anymore.
You want explanations on these monsters now? After all this time, the Batworm is the one that crossed the line, huh?
No, but at least in the beginning you can tell what happened. This thing, though, it's fucking stupid and you get to fight it twice. Fuck him. D tier.
I'm with Donnie on this. You literally run around in a circle and shoot its belly when it's toppled over. Lame. D tier.
I'm not going to argue this either. Fucking D tier it is. Next is that tentacly bitch, Makono. And I'll just say it, this is also a low-level boss. You run around the room tossing flammable cans at it while waiting for the flamethrower to refuel.
It also just loves to teleport all around the fucking room when you spank it too much.
Yup, exposed weak points that glow brighter than the fucking sun. D tier.
Agreed. D tier.
Awesome. Super quick. Next is, of course, the Ndisu motherfucker.
Jesus Christ, this piece of shit was an exact palette swap. In fact, the entire game had basically palette swapped enemies. This bitch with gigantes, the chainsaws, the miniguns, the Maginis swapped with ganados, the dogs, plagas that rip out the heads.
2 words, bigger and more.
They brought back liquors, but they're worse now.
So no, Barry, he's a D tier too. Just the thought of some suits saying, what if the giant, but he was bigger and had more parasites, pisses me off.
We can see that.
I would say maybe C tier because he's still stronger than Gigante and it was able to take out an entire team of trained BSAA.
Sorry, Donnie, but I'll have to agree. Palette swap or not, he's still probably more powerful than the ones in 4. So upper C he goes.
No, fuck that. His entire boss fight is a turret section. You don't even have to strategize, just point and shoot. Even Leon had to fight 2 of them at the same time, which was more entertaining than this fucking shit. D tier.
He's too ramped up.
Fine, fuck it, D tier.
Good.
Okay, then there's the spider thing. U8? I don't fucking know.
Again, fucking D. Exposed weaknesses to get it to open its mouth so you can throw a grenade inside. Then, of course, it spawns ads. Unimaginative. And where was this fucking thing hiding? It's the size of a goddamn bus. And it snuck up on them?
Okay, no. You at least have to dodge its arms and kill ads, so there's more interaction than with the giant. Low C at least.
Fine.
A better boss fight would have been a gauntlet of test subjects hatching and attacking you as the lift goes up. Fighting through wave after wave of that is more exciting than this shit.
Agreed. Next is motherfucking Irving.
Jesus, this fucking idiot.
Oh my God, I hated this piece of shit.
Every piece of dialogue this guy said was utter garbage. It's like the game reverted back to 1996 whenever he opened his fucking mouth.
You're making me look bad.
I never really understood what he did. I guess he was the guy who funded the research or something.
I'm a businessman with standards.
But then he's literally bullied into transforming himself into that fucking thing for some reason.
What are you going to do about them?
All right. I'll handle it.
I would put him into D tier based on his shitty accent alone. Plus his battle is just a turret fight like that giant. Just hit the weak spots and profit.
He at least had a small role to play in the plot, albeit was incredibly minor.
Don't mention minors around Joe, Bear.
God damn it, you piece of shit.
He'll go into low C tier.
Okay, who's next?
Motherfucking Excella.
This thirsty bitch.
Yet another annoying NPC. She actually thinks she's good enough to stand next to Wesker.
I believe I've proven I'm worthy.
Were we supposed to think that she was really a main villain or something? Like, she's a higher up in Tricell, but she acts like a pretentious bitch most of the time.
Maybe I'll tell you. Maybe I won't.
She struts around like she's on Desperate Housewives.
She's definitely desperate for that Wesker D.
I have my eyes set on something much bigger.
So when they finally catch her, they don't shoot her until she starts to run away. First off, if they were going to shoot her, maybe don't do it while they're running. That's bad PR.
You would know, wouldn't you?
Secondly, Shevik says,
She's tough. I'll give her that much.
fucking why? Because she ran like a bitch? Fuck that shit. At least it makes me laugh when she's writhing in agony because it looks like the beginning of a Pepto commercial.
Okay. We've ripped into Excella more than Irving, I think. D tier then?
Now, she still becomes a boss, although a shitty one, but still, C tier at least.
Yeah, I hate it, but C tier is okay.
All right then, boys, it's finally time.
Really?
Fucking finally!
Let's fucking rank the best boy himself. Albert Wesker.
This Sigma motherfucker is perfect. There's nothing wrong with him at all. Look at his new fashion. You gotta respect that fucking drip. Everything is fire with him. His shades, his fucking theme song, even his teeth, all top tier.
Well then.
His teeth?
Just let him have this one.
His powers, teleporting like Nightcrawler on crack, throwing Chris around like a rag doll. He's able to take on 2 top-level BSAA agents at their peak at the same fucking time. And he does it twice. You can tell that the entire franchise has been building up to this moment when Chris and Wesker finally fight each other.
Barry, I can practically feel it ripping out of his pants.
Jesus Christ.
He can dodge fucking bullets and catch fucking rockets.
He'd probably be able to dodge them just fine if he didn't wear those sunglasses in the dark.
You can't hurt me, Baby Joe. I'm in the zone. Remember how Chris spent all those years bulking up for this fight? Nope. Then he trains for his rematch 3 years later. Cute. Fuck out of here. Yeet his ass over the railing. This dude is S tier easy, and his plan makes perfect sense to me.
Whoa, rein it in a bit.
It figures you'd agree with his fucked up points of view, but we're not going to start up with this Thanos did nothing wrong crap, Donnie.
Fine, then I'll finish my point with these last 2 things. First, Wesker without a shirt. Second, Chris doesn't defeat him. The fucking lava does. I don't care who says it. Wesker was tag teamed by 2 agents whom he was ready to go another round with until fucking Mother Earth had to step in.
Almost as if the Earth was against his plan, too.
Nah, it just takes a fucking volcano to kill him. And even then he wasn't going down easy, fucking beast.
All right, I think that's enough. S tier, absolutely.
Of course.
Damn straight, that was awesome.
Jesus, Don, do you need to smoke or something?
Nah, I'm good. Let's keep going.
All right, we finished Resident Evil 5. Let's get to number 6.
Fuck.
Oh man, this is going to take fucking forever.
Resident Evil 6 is like the Star Wars universe. Everyone who bumps into one another knows each other from different paths of the series. Like when Leon's plane flies over Ada fucking Wong, whom she'll see Chris Redfield in a high-speed chase. And when his plane crashes, he literally bumps into Sherry Birkin only a few feet away.
Leon?
Sherry?
Like a Raccoon City reunion.
Well, since we're on the subject, let's go ahead and start with Leon.
Jesus, look what they did to my boy. He's a completely different person than he was back in 4. It's like the difference between James Bond and Ethan Hunt, day and night.
They really made him more serious in this game. No wit, nothing funny, just pure action and seriousness. And the worst part is that even though this is his campaign, it feels more like it's really Helena's.
We'll get there in a moment. Just stick with the man himself.
Okay, no problem. But Bear, I'm not sure using gameplay is such a good idea as a factor for their rankings. Anyone you choose plays the same way. Just melee until you get a QTE pop up for a finisher. Or pull one of the 8 guns out of your ass and fire.
Okay, old man, don't have a stroke. Let's just keep with characterization then.
He doesn't really have one. He's a set piece for his own campaign, moved dramatically from one scene to the next, and I do mean dramatically. And the entire time he's just blindly following Helena to wherever she wants, right after she helped cause an entire town to be destroyed and also getting the president killed.
His intentions are good, but since he's trying so hard to clear Helena's name, it's like you're controlling the sidekick of his own story.
I see your point. They took all the fun and charm out of him.
Let's just rank him already. It's too depressing to see him go from RE4 to this.
Okay, well, he kicks ass as usual. No surprise there. In fact, I think at one point while fighting Simmons, there's a moment that he regresses into his human form, and instead of shooting him in the face, Leon just runs up and punches him. Such an eye-rolling moment.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned him fixing up the RV.
I thought it was low-hanging fruit. I will, however, say that whenever a lady is in the car with him, he can't stop getting hit by a semi.
B tier. Even though he's okay to play, I can't ignore the downgrade they did to him.
I was thinking C tier, but I'm okay with B.
Same. Okay, let's go ahead and get Helena out of the way.
Jesus, where to begin? She knew about the plot to assassinate the fucking president, and she doesn't even attempt to warn them beforehand.
Agent Harper, at the time of the attack, you had abandoned your post, leaving the president vulnerable.
She only did it to save her sister.
She traded the life of her sister for that of the president?
As well as the entire town of Tall Oaks.
90% of the population in Tall Oaks has been infected with the virus. That rounds out to about 70,000 hostiles.
And we're supposed to root for her?
She does change her mind and tries to let them know.
Too fucking late. If she had warned them ahead of time, they may have been able to prevent it.
No one believes her except for Leon.
So imagine if she tells them earlier, and Leon, the one guy who's super chummy with the president, believes her way in advance.
The president spoke highly of you, Agent Kennedy.
Possible crisis averted and lives saved. But we'll never know. And now she begins stringing along Leon from scene to scene with textbook movie padding.
I got a lead?
You will if you come with me.
You have some sins to confess?
It's hard to explain. If I don't tell you at the cathedral, you may not believe me.
You want to tell me what's down there?
It's better if I show you.
He could have been walking right into a trap. It's a good thing the old Leon wasn't there, because once she asks him to follow her, he'd just have 3 words to say.
No thanks, bro.
He does put way too much faith into someone whom he definitely knows was part of the plot to kill the POTUS.
And I get that she loses her sister, but since we only know her as an enemy, I just don't care about it. Also, if Simmons had just said, Leon, arrest Helena as a suspect for the president's assassination, most likely he would have done so right then and there. All the evidence at that moment pointed to her. She even led Leon to a chamber where they housed BOWs. Simmons could have easily gotten away with it.
Lastly, at the end, she is ready to take responsibility for her crime. And for fuck's sake, they just pardon her.
But I assisted in the attack.
Hunnigan simply says that it would not be fair to try her for Simmons' actions.
The investigating commission have reviewed the evidence and feel it unjust to hold you liable for Simmons' crime.
Even though she did make the hole in security which led to the president's death. She then tells her that the information would not be made public, meaning they're going to hide her involvement. And then motherfucking Leon tells her that it's what the president would have done.
The president would have done the same.
The same president that was assassinated for wanting to tell the truth in the government's attack on Raccoon City.
I'm going to tell them everything. Everything we know about the Raccoon City incident. It's time we take responsibility.
He would have kept this a secret. Fucking bullshit. This traitor is D tier.
Wow, she did way worse than Mary Surratt and got away with it. Fucking D tier.
I can't argue with that. All right, let's move on to Chris.
Geez, another downgrade. After losing his team, as well as receiving a simple bump on the noggin, this former Chad literally gets amnesia and forgets everything. Like a fucking soap opera.
What is that? You really don't remember anything, do you? Bioterrorism. Bio.
Like, who wrote that shit?
No shit. Wasn't this the same guy who lost both Alpha and Delta Team when tracking down Wesker back in Africa?
You could argue that those men weren't under his command.
But he does a complete 180 and becomes a drunk as well and loses his fucking memory of his second in command?
Who the hell are you? Piers Nibbins? Never heard of you.
Which, by the way, I'll reiterate, I wish it had been Sheva instead of Piers. His entire campaign would have been way better if she'd had come back.
Not gonna lie, I completely agree with that one.
At least we finally got to see Leon and Chris fight each other.
For only 5 seconds. It's not worth it for them to literally scream at each other of how many people died under their watch.
I lost all my men because of her! And I lost over 70,000 people, including the president, because of Simmons.
It's not a contest to see who is the worst protector.
This is just too depressing. At least in 5, he had a modicum of fun to play with.
So what's the verdict? C?
I'm thinking B because he actually saves the world from chaos.
Wrong! He doesn't do that. Piers does.
Oh shit, you're right.
In fact, based on Chris's track record in this game, if you were assigned under his command, you had an almost 100% chance of dying.
And still that one kid asks if he's always been so awesome.
Is he always this awesome?
Fucking cringe.
Suck it up, Vin. Sorry, sir.
Fine, let's put him in C and move on to Piers.
Yes, the actual hero of this game.
No cap. This guy was the real MVP. He tracks Chris down and helps him get back on his feet.
Never thought I'd find Chris Redfield wasting away in a shithole like this.
He sticks with him through thick and fucking thicker. Chris even considers him as a perfect replacement to himself. This guy was alpha as fuck.
Wait a minute.
It's about time someone took my place. I'd be honored if it was you.
And he's the only one in the series to use a virus to save people. This motherfucker actually injects himself to help kill Chaos and use his new powers against it.
Of course, he's a straight-up baller, A rank for sure. He sacrifices himself to save Chris and the world.
He's A tier.
All right, let's get to Ada.
What the hell is that cube thing she's using? Is that supposed to be her phone? It looks so dumb. How is that better than what everyone else uses?
This is a phone. It's also a camera, it's a web browser, it's a personal home entertainment system, it's a home theater, it's a financial advisor, it's a future planner.
Apparently she can use it to call anyone, including Simmons. But at no point does she call Leon and explain to him what's going on.
You're really confused by all this, aren't you, Leon? It's kind of fun to watch.
It's not like millions of people are dying all over the world because of this shit. But she wants to keep playing her little cat and mouse game with him. So whereas she was being chaotic neutral in Re 4, in here she cranks it up to 11 and becomes an asshole about it.
At least she does help Leon defeat Simmons, and she also destroys Carla's lab as well as Carla herself. But other than that, she's a C tier for me too.
Jesus, really? That's it?
That's all there is for her, or most of these characters. It's such a Michael Bay jerk-off fest, but because there's so many people for a limited time, they don't get much to do. Just run and gun.
I don't agree to that. She's able to figure out that Carla was masquerading as Simmons.
Ada, you're the one behind Neo Umbrella. Simmons would never be foolish enough to show his cards.
And there's finally a touching moment between Leon and herself that brings their relationship closer. Something that's been cooking since 1998.
That's true. I just wish it wasn't in this game.
I was just resting my eyes.
Shouldn't sleep on the job.
I understand where you're both coming from with her. Like in 4, she's in the shadows and being sneaky. But in here, she's literally riding speeding trains and flying attack choppers. She's B-level at least, Donnie.
Whatever, let's just keep going.
Speaking of B, I just want to add that I think it's hilarious how I think of the Wicker Man whenever Ada is swarmed by bees.
Fine then, Sherry Birkin.
Okay, Sherry isn't too bad. She works under Simmons and is tasked with bringing Jake in. Solid buddy system there. And I like that she acknowledges what happened in Raccoon City.
What happened to your father?
By the time he died, his body had mutated so much, he wasn't even recognizable.
It's also nice to see the effects of the G virus in her blood. Regenerative powers is dope, but it never amounts to anything later on except that it's used to create the C virus.
Seeing a legacy character is always a nostalgia trip, especially one that hasn't been seen for decades. It was, however, kind of weird to get some lewd shots of her, since the last time we saw her, she was only 12.
I didn't see a problem with it.
My God, Joe.
Of course you didn't.
And it created a romantic link between herself and Jake.
Geez, I would think that them forming a bond over shared experiences would have created that link. Not that one time he decided to stare at her bare ass for a few seconds.
That ass.
So bottom line is that it's cool we get to see her grown up and working as a government agent. Unfortunately, her blood helps create the most powerful virus, but honestly, I'm more upset that her reunion with Leon was interrupted by Jake.
Fair enough.
Give us a hug or something. You two haven't seen each other for 15 years. What is this shit? I thought he was special to you.
Leon's not just anyone. He saved my life back in Raccoon City.
It's as bad as when Leia snubbed Chewie after Han died.
I agree. I'm okay with putting her in A tier, mainly because she actually improves from her earlier game.
She kind of has to, seeing as how she was a child then.
I'm with Creepy Joe.
Asshole.
The other characters are doing worse, but she is better. A tier for me, too.
All right, no problem. Let's finish up the protagonist with Jake.
This apple-eating, edgy motherfucker. Classic too cool for school D-bag.
Let's get this out of the way first. Him being the son of Wesker, but turning into a good guy is basically Rey Skywalker. And it makes me think of that shit movie more.
Something I was never clear on. So Jake is Wesker's son, and it shows he's super strong. Wesker didn't get his superpowers until he injected himself with the virus during the mansion incident in 1998. But Jake was born in 1992.
I think the immunity in his blood is what they were really going for, not Wesker's powers from the virus.
He was also your father, which makes you heir to a very special blood type.
Then why did they make such an emphasis on his hand-to-hand combat skills? Jake is the only one who actually can switch to throwing hands. Not even Leon or Chris, both known for their physical prowess, are given that option. Not to mention they have a specific scene where he just throws down on Ustanak. Lastly, he not only has an open palm attack like Big Daddy did back in 2005, but he straight up socks the ugly fucker off the platform.
I think you've made your point. It does feel like Capcom wanted Jake to somehow inherit his daddy's strength at least, and hope no one would question it. I'd also like to point out that Jake holds people's faces the exact same way as Wesker did too.
Also, much like Palpatine, it's weird to think of that egotistical megalomaniac having a relationship with someone enough to get them pregnant.
Do it.
Agreed. But let's get to ranking. So this Judd Nelson wannabe, who is just too cool for school, is only notable because someone still wanted Wesker to be in the game, but as a memory now, so they made his son. If Jake was just a nobody like Helena, he'd be less interesting.
He gives those creepy white knight vibes when he actually pushes Leon away for getting too close to Sherry.
I need to know.
Jake! Didn't he remember that they were close friends? Way to be an overprotective cringe boy.
And when he nearly threatens to kill Chris after he finds out that Chris killed his daddy.
Jake, please stop.
Put a bullet in your head.
Put your gun down.
Drop your
Don't do this!
Like, what the fuck? A few hours ago, you didn't even give a shit about your dad and called him a deadbeat. You even found out that he tried to genocide the entire world and almost succeeded.
You know, I thought dear old dad was just a deadbeat who skipped out on us. No. He was actually a freaking nut job who almost destroyed the world.
So what the fuck is this? I'm going to honor my father and avenge his death bullshit to another good friend of Sherry's?
Not gonna lie, he pissed me off when he did that. However, his abilities to take on Ustanak and then him deciding to donate his blood for the vaccine was a plus too. Although, come on, who didn't see that coming? Also, he goes to fight more monsters to protect the innocent, so that's good too. I don't mind him in B, but low B.
Come on, C tier at the most.
Nah, I'll side with Barry on this. He kept his promise to protect Sherry, although he was real weird about it.
Fair is fair, kid.
Fine, at least we're done with the boring ones. Now we can move on to the more interesting ones, right?
Sure can. Let's get started with the big guy, Ustanak.
Oh, fuck yeah, this boy was a juggernaut. Unstoppable.
Could easily give Nemi a run for his money. Boy was a beast.
I actually like how this mad lad had a different attachment for every occasion. Plus, this guy took on 4 different operatives, one being Leon himself.
How is he still standing? Don't get me started. But maybe the 4 of us can stop it once and for all.
I just wished he would have mutated a bit more. The staple in all these games is that the thing that chases you get worse and worse as time goes by. But this guy just kept looking like a post-apocalyptic Hannibal Lecter.
Love your suit.
Anyone else think his claw arm looked like John Silver's in Treasure Planet?
Him jumping from helicopter to helicopter was kind of cool, although a bit cheesy. But at least his last fight was pretty dope with that wrecking ball.
I got big balls. I got big balls.
All in all, he's a solid A for me. He may have been a bit annoying to fight, but at least he wasn't boring.
I can agree to that.
Same. All right, let's go to Derek Simmons.
I hear my name.
Jesus Christ, this dude was all over the fucking place. It's like they took all the ideas for Ustanak's transformations and gave them all to Simmons.
He's the exact opposite of Ustanak for me. Whenever this guy would show up, I'd groan. He was annoying and boring. His first transformation made his face seem like they couldn't decide what to reference between 2011's The Thing and Lawnmower Man.
And someone must have been on a Jeff Goldblum binge because his last two were a literal fucking dinosaur and a giant fly.
That being said, his methods are complete overkill. He assassinates the president because they're about to expose their role in the Raccoon City incident.
Had he disclosed the truth behind Raccoon City, the U.S. would have lost all its authority, and the global political order would have collapsed.
So instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, he potentially kills thousands, maybe millions.
He had to be stopped!
It's the equivalent to burning down your house because you saw a spider.
His obsession with Ada was also really creepy. And what was with his plot armor? You're telling me that he has the ability to not only run faster than a speeding train and knock it off its tracks, but can still get hurt when you punch him in the face?
Not to mention that he apparently has 40 gallons of blood inside of him so that he can make the umbrella symbol.
How poetic. So C-tier?
Yeah, he was more ridiculous than anything. Felt more like a boss to keep Leon busy.
Agreed.
All right, let's move on to Carla.
Not much to really talk about with her, except she has the balls to talk shit about Wesker when she basically does the same exact shit he did.
Albert Wesker was a colossal imbecile. A fool who tried to destroy the world.
Since she's mostly in cutscenes, she doesn't really offer much. She frames Ada for killing Chris's troops. She completely takes advantage of Leon's affection towards her so she can get away with it. And her boss fight is over way too fast.
He tried so hard to destroy the world.
Why would she be anywhere near a room with her weakness inside? It's like Verdugo all over again.
Her back and forth between herself and Ada are pretty dope, but that's about it. She's just a Bond villain who turns into a giant monster and dies to an obvious weakness. C-tier.
Pretty much.
Yeah, let's move on to Hayos already.
No joke, this motherfucker is so huge and has the potential to destroy the entire planet, and it's only a baby.
That's probably the most interesting part about it, really.
Be very careful with what you're about to say, Joe.
You asshole, I meant that even in its infancy, it's incredibly powerful, but it still has issues killing two tiny men.
I guess I can see your point on that.
Much like Carla's true form, it doesn't show up until the game is almost done. Not much to rank there except how powerful it is. Unfortunately, after spending a lengthy section running away from it, all you do is keep your distance and shoot at it. But since it can't be killed, all it does is regenerate and smacks you around. No special abilities or anything, just physical attacks.
That really sounds like C-tier material to me.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
Damn, these characters really took a nosedive in quality. I think it's time for another break, so any last thoughts?
Yeah, have you noticed how many BOWs are thrown out of cargo planes? It's ridiculous.
Someone at Capcom obviously loves Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
All right, guys, let's take another quick break before we get into the newer games.
Thank God, this is the most tedious thing I've ever had to do.
Well, now I see why your time in the Oval Office was such shit if something like this is getting hard for you.
Do you even remember what it's like to get hard, old man?
That's enough. I'll see you guys in a bit.